Okay, so it's Monday afternoon and it's finally clearing up. In fact, there's some blue sky. Beau and I, there he is in the back seat. We're on our way to our training class. We didn't make it last week because I was not feeling good at all. I had a couple of ribs that were subluxed and a massive headache. So this morning I called to make sure that the trainer made it in, and she was there. So today we're going in. The roads are, kind of cleared up. The water's receding by us, so we're heading on into training. Thank God. Cabin fever has set in. Right, Beau? Beau? Are you ready for training? Huh? Are you ready to do some training? Are you? He's ready. He's ready to get out, that's for sure. This is post-training after dinner.
What are you doing?
Huh?
What are you doing?
I'm filming what Beau looks like after training.
No attack on an American will be tolerated.
Right,
It is up to
right.
us.
I'm not filming you. And he's got his butt to me, so he's wore out. And I did get the occipital nerve block, but it didn't work. And so we're working on doing another one above the C3 with ketamine this time, which is a whole lot better for people with Ehlers-Danlos Syndrome, because steroids will actually they're not good for the tissue. Words gone, not working. So that's on the list of things that are getting approved, as well as an MRI of my brain to see what's going on with my brain, and the C1 and 2, because my cervical spine MRI showed some crowding of the cerebellum at the base of my skull. And so we're trying to see how much crowding is going on. And an MRI is really the only way to see that. So that's what we're waiting on the approval for, and appointment times. So there's that going on. And then the big stress. We have a neighbor who has decided to build a frickin' RV park next door to us. Here's the kicker. This mofo has zero permits and one septic tank, because we live out in the country, so we don't have access to public works, no city water, no city sewage, none of that. We have to have septic tanks, and he only has one. Now he's already got 3 RVs out there, and one of them happens to be a bus. Okay, this shit ain't gonna fly with me having chronic illness. No. And there's a stock tank, this stock tank is old. It's one of 2, it's actually one tank that was built back in, I don't know, the 20s or 30s by the Army Corps of Engineers as a recreational place for the Corps. So I just had to go to the courthouse to find out where I need to go to file some complaints on this sorry mofo, because I already know what's going to happen to all of this septic waste that's going to come out of all of these RVs when their tanks get full. They're going to dump that shit on the ground and it's going to get nasty real quick. And that's how I'm going to fly with mama. No. And then it's going to get into the stock tanks, and it's going to go downstream and get in all the rivers, and it's going to seep into the natural groundwater, and it's going to contaminate everybody's well water. Yeah. So, I was referred over to the Department of Development, and to the tax office, because now this moron who thinks you don't have to have any kind of permits to have an RV park, which is a business, by the way, out in the county, is about to get slammed with everything. His taxes are fixing to go through the roof because now he's operating a business. His property taxes are going to go through the roof because he's got all of these buildings now that are fixed. Awnings, fences, all of this extra shit that he has built on. So his property taxes are going to go through the roof. And guess what? Nothing on his property is insurable. Nothing. The house he lives on is not insurable because it is mud and straw built. Now, I know this because we knew the people who built this house, and they already had a fire back, in 2002, 2004, something like that, and damn near burned our house down. And that was like 2 weeks before Christmas way back then. And they couldn't get their house insured because of the construction of the house. So nothing on their property is insurable. Zilch. Does that piss you off yet? Because it sure pisses me off. The privacy fence that he has already partially erected is what they put up in front of junkyards. It's tin, sheet metal. And it's not even new sheet metal. It's old rusted shit. So we've got the Department of Developmental Affairs. We've got the tax office. Oh, we're going to get all kinds of offices involved in this because Mama ain't gonna put up with this shit. And he's already told one of his neighbors he doesn't need any permits for being in the county. Sunshine, I got news for you. I don't care what sunshine state you came from, but here in Texas, we do things just a little bit differently, and you're fixing to find out you don't mess with this Texas girl. Yeah. So, talking to the Department of Developmental and Environmental Services was a success. The lady down there was so awesome. Apparently, she's already had a run-in with the neighbor. So, Beau, hey. And he's flat out ignored their first attempt to get him to obtain permits. And so, you know, and I don't mind if there's a trailer park next door, as long as it's done properly. You know, get a large enough septic system. I mean, this is a tiny, tiny, small septic system next door, not one that's going to handle a trailer park. You know, pay your taxes. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go down. I just, you know, I just, the saga shall continue is all I have to say. Yeah, so I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how things go down. It's going to be one of those, you know, unfolding sagas, I guess you can say, with the neighbor. I found out one of our other neighbors had already gone down to that same that same office and cussed the front office girls out for them sending a certified letter to the property owner to tell him to cease building activities until he obtained permits, proper permits. And I'm like, he did what? I'm like, okay. I told her, I said, well, that neighbor, he's not very well liked by many of our other neighbors because he's just grumpy. And his grandson is a terror. He's like Dennis the Menace on steroids or some shit, you know. I don't know. It's just, you know. Anyway, this shall be one of those videos that will continue on. I'll have to do a follow-up. But she's like, are you going to be around tomorrow afternoon? I'm like, yeah. And she's like, good. If you hear gunshots, please call 911. I don't want to die alone. So, I'll have to keep y'all updated. Until next time. Bye.